Many nonverbal behaviors mean the same thing in person as they would if someone were in front of a screen. We shiver when we're cold, we raise our eyebrows when we're surprised, we look around when we're distracted. However, there are certain behaviors or movements or gestures or non-movements or gestures or expressions that have a different meaning, a unique meaning on video. And it's important to know the difference to avoid a lot of unnecessary stress and miscommunication. So I share that quote with you, not simply because it's from one of my favorite all-time movies, but because I think it really sums up trying to read virtual body language. People behave differently in front of a screen. They are much more passive, less expressive, and it goes back to our relationship with screens. We've typically been in a receiving mode when we're in front of a screen, whether that screen is a TV screen, the movie theater, an iPad, or a computer. It's been a pretty one-sided human experience until recently. And so we get into trouble when we start to associate in-person behavior meaning with on-screen behavior. So what we're going to do is take a look at some of the typical virtual behaviors that we see that are commonly misinterpreted. And the first one is an expression that I think you'll probably be very familiar with. This expression is so common that I've coined a name for it: resting business face, or RBF. And that's really what it is. It's just a blank poker face that doesn't give off an ounce of emotion, meaning, or context. And it can really cause your nerves to flare and anxiety to go up if you associate the same meaning as it would have if you were in person. And what happens is oftentimes salespeople see this and they think, oh my gosh, they don't like this, they're bored, they're unhappy. And we start to engage in self-defeating behaviors like rushing through our presentation or not pausing at all or checking in 150 times, all of which may create the results that we don't want. Now, could RBF mean that your customer is bored or disinterested? Yes, it could. However, I caution you to jump to that conclusion because I have talked to more salespeople and presenters that share with me how they thought their audience was bored out of their minds when they looked on their screens, only to find out they loved the presentation. They bought the product. So don't necessarily assume the worst. As we're going to talk about, there's some other signs that we want to look for before we jump to the worst possible conclusion.